What's up guys, Christy here from Girls Can Grill. Today we are gonna grill up some steak pinwheels. And I'm gonna do a steak combination that I personally love, that is steak and cream spinach. So we're gonna prep this meat, we're gonna make up some cream spinach, put that all inside, roll it all up, slice it, and throw it on the grill. Let's get started. So this right here is a flank steak. You can see that it's kind of thick. It's about almost an inch thick. So we're actually gonna remove some of the silver skin and then we're gonna fillet this in half so that we can really get it nice and flat so we can roll it up. Now the flank steak comes from the belly of a cow, similar to where you're gonna find the skirt steak, where you're gonna find the meat for the plate ribs or the navel, the belly of the cow. So it has some nice marbling and some nice flavor. One of the things I love doing with flank steak is making flank steak tacos where you marinate it, grill it up, slice it up, and then throw it on your tacos. Be sure to visit girlscangrill.com to get that full recipe. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss a recipe. Let's get started on prepping this up. So you can see that there's quite a bit of silver skin or just some extra fat on here. I like to just take a sharp knife and just trim off some of that. You don't have to trim it all off because fat is flavor, but I just do like to get in here and get just a little bit. And then go ahead and flip it over because there's gonna be some on the other side also. Now you can see that it's really super thin right here. So when I butterfly this, I'm gonna go into this thick part, and then where it's kind of thin, I'm probably not gonna go all the way through because then it'll get too thin. So we'll just kind of play it by ear. I like to put my hand right here, put my knife about halfway through. It's kind of hard to do this with the camera facing your angle, but I want to make sure that you guys can see this all. Take your time, go slow, because you don't want to go too deep and end up cutting into the bottom side. Like I did that a little bit here, but it's okay, we can make up for it. I'm just going to kind of start new right there. Nice. Make sure you're using a really sharp knife. This is a Benchmade. It's a boning knife or a fillet knife. It works really well. Okay, I still have some thickness over here. It's not as much right here because there's kind of a nice fat right here, which is gonna, again, taste great, but you just have to kind of work through it. Almost there. I am actually gonna leave it just like that. I'm pretty happy with that. You can see I didn't cut this part right here. I left this part connected, but it's so thin here that when it overlaps, that's gonna be just fine. And it's a little skinny here. I'm just gonna kind of push that together and we're gonna lay this just like this so that when we roll it up, it's gonna be perfect. But let's get to making that cream spinach. All right, I've melted a tablespoon of butter in a skillet here over medium-high heat, and I've added 1 shallot that I've just thinly sliced along with 1 clove of minced garlic. We're gonna cook this down until it kind of starts to caramelize and gets nice and tender. Now that the shallot and garlic are nice and soft and tender, we're gonna go ahead and make our cream spinach sauce. Usually when I make cream spinach, I take shallot and garlic, I saute it in butter, then I add some heavy cream, and then I add Parmesan cheese and the spinach, and it all becomes this creamy, soft sauce. Well, we're not gonna do it quite like that. I don't want a sauce inside of these steak pinwheels. Instead, I want kind of a cheese base. So we're using 8 ounces of cream cheese. It's really important that it's softened. Then go ahead and add in those shallots and garlic, give it a good stir. Next, we're gonna add in half of the grated Parmesan cheese. Go ahead and stir that up. I've got my flank steak here. I'm gonna season it inside with Girls Can Grill brisket rub. Just hit it all over so that it's evenly coated. Next, you can take that onion cream cheese dip and you wanna spread that all over the inside. I like to use a rubber spatula. It just really helps me spread it all the way from edge to edge. You want a nice even layer. Now when you're making steak pinwheels, you could use slices of cheese, you could use shredded cheese, you could use anything. I mean, make these totally your own. You'll see recipes that use spinach, you'll see recipes that use sun-dried tomatoes, roasted red peppers. Heck, you could even do this with some sauteed mushrooms. You could also add some horseradish sauce in here. That would be nice as well. Just think about anything that goes great with steak, you could put inside of these steak pinwheels. After I do all this cream cheese layer from edge to edge, I'm gonna go ahead and add my fresh spinach. Just go ahead and layer that all on there. You want it to be kind of a thick layer, so overlap your leaves a little bit because that's just gonna really help it kind of give it more flavor, because as spinach cooks, it definitely wilts down. So just pile it on up with the spinach. Okay, now it comes time to roll this up. You just wanna start on one end and roll as tightly as you can, just kind of squeezing it as you go. Be careful when you get to that seam part where we did our butterfly cut, and just try to make sure everything is tucked in there. Now before we cut these into steaks, we need to tie this up. So I've just got butcher's twine here, some scissors. I'm gonna slide it underneath. I like to do kind of a double tuck and then tie your knot. It just helps it from kind of slipping. Again, just kind of shimmy it under there. Tuck it under twice, pull it tight. And how thick you want to do your steaks is completely up to you. Now when you tie your string, you are going to cut your steaks between the string. So keep that in mind as you tie these. So you can see we're gonna have a steak kind of here and here. This is where we're gonna do our cuts. So I'm gonna do one more. And the end pieces are never perfect, but that's okay. Okay. Now, the next thing I like to do is season the outside with a little bit more brisket rub. Now that it's tied, you can roll it. And since some fell on the cutting board, I like to just kind of give it a roll that way too. That looks nice. Okay, and then before I slice into this, I like to do one more thing, and that is take a skewer and skewer right next to the string. This is just an extra little step that's gonna help it hold together. These are actually steak pins that I use in SCA steak competitions. I find that they're a little bit easier than using wooden skewers because you don't have to soak them. With wooden skewers, you do have to soak them so they don't burn. I'm gonna actually cut off a little bit of these butcher's twine tails too, just so that they don't catch fire on the grill. Okay, then I'm coming back in with my knife and I am slicing slowly. Look at how pretty that is. Again, just slice between your pieces of twine. So gorgeous. Now, what I like to do at this stage, after I slice them, we're gonna season them again real quick, but I like to refrigerate them for a little while. That's because our cream cheese is at room temperature, and when your cream cheese is at room temperature, it's already soft, and if we put it on the grill, it may have a tendency to start to ooze out too fast before your meat cooks. So by refrigerating it again, that's gonna give us an opportunity for it to get hard and cold again. Now, after I slice these, I like to season them with some more Parmesan cheese because that is gonna help kind of crust up on the grill. And I'm gonna hit them with a little bit more brisket rub. Just pat that on there. Go ahead and flip them over. You can see my slices weren't very even today. Sometimes when I'm filming, I don't do things perfectly. And you know what? Sometimes when I'm not filming, I don't do things perfectly. And that's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to make good food. Like this guy right here is so puny, but it's fine. This guy's so big, I'm gonna give it a little bit more. Awesome. Okay, and hit it with that brisket rub. Fantastic. Now I'm gonna transfer these to a sheet pan so that I can put them right in the refrigerator. I would say put them in there for an hour if you have time, otherwise 30 minutes is good. I'll see you guys back here in a minute. All right, to cook up these steaks, you're gonna wanna preheat your grill to about 450 degrees, setting up a direct heat zone and an indirect heat zone. We are gonna start by placing these steaks right on top of the grill over the direct heat, and you only need to cook them for 2 to 3 minutes. You wanna keep it super fast because the cream cheese is actually gonna start to ooze out. So after 2 to 3 minutes, go ahead and give them a flip. Be careful in case there's any drippings, and then cook them again for another 2 to 3 minutes. After that, you're gonna wanna move them up to indirect heat, so I just like to put them on an upper rack. You could also move them to the side if you're using a charcoal grill to where you have coals on one side, no coals on the other. You just want that indirect heat to finish them off to your preferred doneness. I usually cook them to about 125, 130 degrees for medium rare. Then you are gonna take them off the grill and you wanna be sure to let them rest for like 5 to 10 minutes. And that's important because you kind of want the cheese to re-harden just a little bit. That also helps the steak keep its integrity a little bit. So you can take out the wooden skewers. You can remove the twine, be gentle. Then to finish them off, I just like to garnish them with a little bit of fresh parsley. If you don't want to buy parsley, just chop up some spinach. That makes a nice garnish too. Hit it with a little bit more Parmesan cheese. And then you can serve these up with your favorite side dish. You can keep it simple and just do like a side salad because you already have the cream spinach, which is your side, and your steak all in one big bite here. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this open so you can see the pinwheel effect. Be super delicate with it. Check out the layers. It's so juicy. It's dripping all over the place. Beautiful. This is about a medium cook on it. I'm happy with it. When you bite into this, you can already see the drippings right here. That cream cheese and spinach mixed with the brisket rub. Ooh, look, I got a piece right here. So fantastic, you guys. It really is a steakhouse dish all in one. You can find the whole recipe at girlscangrill.com, and don't forget to tap that subscribe button so you never miss another recipe like this.